promise you, babe. All this shit, all that other shit out the window, babe. Nothing, babe. Just relax, babe. Just relax, babe. All right? Okay? All right? Calm down, breathe, okay? Don't let them make you feel like that, okay, baby? It's okay, baby. Babe, you gonna get bonded out. You can't get robbed, babe. You gonna get out, babe. You gonna get bonded out, babe. I promise you gonna get bonded out. I'm gonna make sure you get bonded out. I promise. Relax, baby. Babe, I promise you, babe. I'm not gonna lie to you, babe. Why would I do that to you, babe? Have I ever really left you for dead, babe? Anything we ever, babe? Alright, babe. So stop. So stop. Babe.
Have I?
Babe.
Have I? I have.
Babe, I'm not going to, stop. I'm not thinking like that, alright? I'm not on that, babe. I got you. Give me, baby, give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss, babe. Babe, wipe your face, baby. It's okay, baby.
I remember back in school, all the girls used to dub the guys they considered lame. And really, they weren't lame. They were just guys that had other focuses and other activities and other priorities instead of their potential careers, what college they were going to go to. And so while many girls dubbed these guys and were running the streets with the quote-unquote bad boys and the guys from the local housing projects near my school, the lames, or so they called them, grew up to be successful entrepreneurs, project managers, attorneys, doctors, scientists, engineers with assets and 401ks and beautiful wives, families, stability. And the street guys that all of the girls were so infatuated with, they never grew up, literally. Half of them were killed by gun violence or are currently serving lengthy prison sentences. And if they did survive, they are now working low-wage jobs with no cars, 4 or 5 kids, 4 or 5 baby mamas, no real-life goals, still recovering from a wasted life of chasing popularity and a name in the streets. It's almost like the street guys traded in their future life for their past life, while the guys that were quote-unquote lame were planting seeds and are now reaping the benefits of their hard work. And since I never thought street guys would actually become the new wave with the current generation, I wanted to take a few moments to discuss this because I have witnessed so many of my good girlies go out sad. And as someone who has personal experience with this topic, I hope that the information provided in this video today will help us to start viewing these situations for exactly what they are. But more importantly, to help us to truly hone in on what really matters, on what should be the real focus when it comes to selecting a man. And that's why I often chuckle when I see comments from people who feel like I'm just speaking and talking down, when in reality, I have firsthand experiences with a lot of these subject matters. I am able to speak on it because I have lived it. Now, in many of my videos, you have often heard me discuss character. Character is defined as the mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. And the key words here are mental and moral. And the reason why vetting a man's character is beneficial to us as women is because it allows us to see where their mental and their moral qualities lie. And the reason why I say that many women are going out sad is because we are now attracted to men based on what society deems as worthy, which is merely aesthetics versus the character that lies within the heart of the man. And catch this, the result of going off of what society and social media deems as worthy has women setting themselves up for the finesse. And the plainest way that I can possibly put this is that we are simply focused on the wrong things, like clout, street cred, gang affiliation, tattoos, jewelry, cars, designer, guns, and literally gold teeth. It's the street ninja aesthetic that has the girls in the chokehold. Now, I want you to hear me real good. Okay, this is some free game. Just know you heard it here first from Wild Heart. The streets are really dead. Okay, once all these cameras hit the streets, artificial intelligence, facial recognition, social media and cell phone technology, it was done. Okay, and I want to give you an example. If shots were to ring out in proximity to one of these police street cameras that we see in major cities. The technology is so advanced that police are able to tell the caliber of gun that was used. Before 9/11, you could fly kilos of cocaine in your carry-on like it was deodorant and toothpaste. You see, back in the day, the majority of guys that were in the streets were in it for the money to survive. And it was much easier to accomplish this because technology was not as advanced. Cameras were not everywhere. BMF was able to have a good run before they got caught. Most of these dudes that y'all think are really having their way in the streets today are poor. They are poor hustlers with no real motion and Instagram flicks at a dried up trap. What used to be about getting money is now just for an image, because just like we as women know, men also know that the street ninja aesthetic got the girls in the chokehold. The scammers too. They in the same boat. These modern day scammers are hitting for DoorDash and $200 jugs in Instagram DMs. Most of them are not busting $100,000 checks anymore. They are no longer getting away with dropping $50,000 in someone's bank accounts. The streets have officially dried up. And as a result of this, there are a lot of street ninja perpetrators out here. Many of you ladies are laying down next to fraudulent situations at night. Ain't stood on no blocks, ain't slept in no traps, don't know no streets. And as mentioned in Baddies, since the green level girls love them a street bandit, all it takes these days is for a perpetrator to have the aesthetic. The gold teeth, the tattoos, the guns, the walk hard and tryst, and the girls are in love. Y'all ain't pulled no Carfax on these bandits. This man daddy paying for his clothes. This man toting his mama's legal registered firearm. You think this man out here whamming and bamming, but he's really just as green as you. The streets is no longer adding up because of all of the advances with technology. It's becoming harder for these type of guys to continue to commit crimes and be successful in the long run without getting caught or ending up in the graveyard. We saw this recently with prominent Brooklyn drill rapper Chef G, who was just arrested recently and charged with conspiracy to commit murder, along with multiple other gang-related charges after the same $80,000 track hawk that he vlogged about buying cash was allegedly the same vehicle that he drove to get away from a shooting. And guess what? The vehicle was tracked after he dumped it because it was all caught on New York's pristine camera system. This is what I mean by the streets are dead. It is becoming harder and harder for these guys to be able to commit crimes and get away with it. Smart street guys understand that the streets do not last forever. So you got to invest. You got to do other things to grow what you have. And the sad part about it is that we've looked down on the guys who took the correct route from the beginning, who made the right decisions from day one, and then we call them lame. And just so that we are clear, lame is defined as uninspiring and dull. And since many of you call these type of guys boring, y'all say y'all not having fun with these type of guys, then my question is, what type of fun are y'all really having with the street guys? Who can barely even buy y'all something to eat? Who live in pillar to post, dropping you off at work, riding around in your car all day using your gas? Is it the thrill of knowing what he does? Excitement knowing that he's potentially risking his life and freedom to make a play? Since when did a man getting up to go to work every day to make an honest living, not hanging in the streets and aspiring to do more with himself, become boring and lame? I want to know what's the thought process behind that. You see, we have to be able to differentiate what lame really is. There are so many nuances to this. But to me, character is the one defining thing that tells me if a man is lame or not. Character differentiates this, not his physical aesthetic or self-proclaimed street cred, not how fine he is or how intelligent he appears, not how much money he makes or because he went to Stanford or Yale. I don't care how popular a man is. A man's character tells me who I am dealing with. There are guys that you will meet that will not have the street aesthetic and will be some of the greatest men that you will ever meet. Laid back, great energy, great company, just overall good men. There are guys that you will meet that are from the streets that are great men. Might not have the best upbringings, but their character is that of a stand-up guy. There are guys that you will meet that will have the street aesthetic, but will without a doubt be lame. Questionable character, snake mentalities, untrustworthy, willing to cross any and everyone to get ahead. And then you will meet some guys with the best backgrounds, the best upbringings, who have the worst character. Men that look great on paper, but the core of who they are is rotten. So I'm not saying that you have to be with a man from the suburbs or a certain neighborhood. He can be from the inner city. But the bottom line is that he needs to be on to something bigger and better with good character to match. I just want us as women to stop focusing on putting men in these cookie cutter categories based on aesthetics and how they look without truly allowing the man to reveal himself through his character and getting to know the core and the heart of who he really is. You see, there's a big misconception and illusion that many women have about street guys, that somehow dealing with this type of man means more protection, more security, that somehow he's more masculine if he's risking his life on a daily basis. It is absolutely an illusion that street guys are more protective and will provide a better sense of security or safety than men who are not involved in street life. If anything, it is the complete opposite. If anything, you are putting yourself more in harm's way. And I talked about this in depth in the Prove series, Prove 1 and Prove 2. These videos are gems, and if you haven't seen them, please be sure to check them out. Now, Monique Baugh is a name that I do not want you all to forget. Monique was a real estate agent in Minnesota, and her baby daddy, John, was in the streets. An upcoming rapper who often flashed money on Instagram was attempting to make a name for himself in the music industry. And we see this a lot with black women who, in my opinion, settle for men that they know who do not have the same mental and moral qualities of that will make a good husband and lifelong partner. And again, that's the definition of character. So on New Year's Eve 2019, Elsa Segura, who had a romantic relationship with John's former quote-unquote business associate, Lyndon Wiggins, lured Monique to a fake house showing. And when Monique arrived, she was abducted by two men, Cedric Berry and Barry Davis, and put in the back of a U-Haul truck. They later used Monique's keys to enter her home, where they shot John in front of their two daughters. And roughly an hour after this, a gunshot detection device tipped police off to another shooting near a back alley where they found Monique, who had been shot twice in the torso and once in the face at point blank range. She was unresponsive and bleeding significantly, and her hands were bound with duct tape. Testimony at trial suggested that they tortured her for several hours, including ripping her acrylic fingernails off and striking her body. And the U-Haul circled Monique's block for about 30 minutes before she was shot, her mother testifying that Monique likely held out on revealing John's whereabouts as long as she could in order to protect her children. During the trial, John was almost kicked out of the court and into jail after becoming combative on the stand and going at it with defense attorneys, alleging that they were using taxpayer dollars to defend the suspects. John also alleged that Lyndon Wiggins was upset because he left his music label earlier in the year, and that Lyndon accused him of stealing music. There were also rumors that John might have snitched on Lyndon as being involved in drug trafficking, which is why Lyndon helped organize the killing. Regardless, Monique is now the innocent victim of her boyfriend's trivial street drama and low-class beef. And he is back flicking it up on the gram, flexing money, cough syrup, revealing that although Monique, the mother of his children, was a casualty of his war, years after her death, he is still focused on upholding an image. It's the street ninja aesthetic.
Maybe you wanted a temper? Yeah. Well, I got you one of those.
Now, many of you are here to see my thoughts regarding this relationship with Angela Simmons and Yo Gotti. And honestly, there's not much to say outside of the fact that Angela is far over her head with Memphis and Ridgecrest's finest. And maybe we'll do a deep dive on them one day specifically. But Angela, like many women, are attracted to the wrong type of men, the street ninja aesthetic. And I think that because she has a wealthy background and her father is a pastor, people think that she's immune to making bad decisions. I believe that both society and Angela considered her to be an ugly duckling growing up, and that the confidence was never truly there. So there's this unspoken competition that Angela has with her big sister Vanessa. Angela reached her glow up era through, of course, fitness and the fact that she has money, and fell into a trap of believing that beauty was all that she needed for a man to want to give her commitment. Angela's elitist attitude and lack of humbleness are aligned with her projecting her childhood insecurities through her glow up, and her history of twirling and constant need to thirst trap on social media reveals that she's not as confident on the inside as she portrays to the outside world. Again, Angela, like many women, fall into this trap of thinking that the glow up is only external. So they find themselves in a high number of relationships, but many are short-lived and meaningless, as beauty will only get your foot in the door, and all men want sex. She also has a history of putting men on a pedestal and not mirroring the men. She doesn't hesitate to parade them around on her social media pages in little to no time of getting to know them, while many of these men never do the same for her. She even bought a condo all the way in Miami, Florida, while living between LA and New York to be closer to boxer Daniel Jacobs after only a short time of knowing him. Angela's dating history speaks volumes, from rapper and overgrown boy Bow Wow, who has a history of anger issues, the same man that ran up in his ex-girlfriend's face like he would step into a man, and has a history of temper tantrums and meltdowns on and off camera. Skateboarder Terry Kennedy, who had anger issues as well and killed his friend after beating him to death. Sutton Tennyson, who she lost her virginity to after vowing to stay celibate until marriage, was an ex-drug dealer turned businessman who also had a domestic case in the past and was killed during an argument at his $600,000 home in Atlanta. Boxer Daniel Jacobs, whose ex-girlfriend of 12 years, Natalie, alleged that he was with Angela just for a storyline, and that she took care of him financially and supported him throughout cancer just for him to leave her and go public with Angela. And yet the one man, Romeo, who showed Angela respect and seemed different than all of the guys in her network, she dubbed. The one man who told Angela the truth to her face about herself and did not join the long line of yes men around her, she dubbed. Angela was rude to Romeo, talked to him any kind of way, and yet Romeo never stooped to Angela's level. But what he did do was that he recognized Angela's attitude was beyond repair and exited stage left. You know, I remember back in school, all the girls used to dub the guys they considered lame. Until next time.